The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hi, this is Mia Mosinzia, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People Based Upon a Real-Life Relationship, available in print and ebook formats on Amazon. Do read it. I'm sure you'll love it. It's www.miamosinzia.com and www.amazon.com/Mia
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartradio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition rate. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, check out the latest novel by well-known award-winning author Mia Mosinzia of No Time for Love called Missing, an extraordinary relationship between two ordinary people based on real-life events that go through 4 countries, 2 strangers, and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and ones you love will be the first to go missing. Check out the book on Amazon and other retailers, available on all formats today. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com and on over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, Amazon Audible, and coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. Also heard worldwide on Geo7, Radio Public, Himalayan, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a terrific singer-songwriter, a wonderful lady from Jersey City, New Jersey, who specializes in the blues, Americana, and a very unique sound that brings a fresh perspective for the New Jersey rock scene. She's also an author of a book called Language of the Blues, and she'll tell you more about that. And she's got some music out on Spotify, Pandora, and iTunes, and many major platforms, including When It Comes Down, The Needle and the Damage Done, Stay, When It Comes Down, Canna Indica, and a lot more. And we'll be playing one of her tracks in just a minute. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown New Jersey, the very super singer, songwriter, and multi-talented Debra Devi. Debra, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Mike. Good evening from Jersey City, New Jersey. I'm very thrilled to join you.
And yes, we're happy to have you as well, too. So you basically have been in Jersey City, New Jersey for quite some time. You specialize in blues, Americana, and just about every genre possible. And you also got an EP out, which features When It Comes Down, The Needle and the Damage Done, Stay, When It Comes Down, Canada Indica, and a lot more, a lot of soulful tunes. And you're also an author of a book called Language of the Blues, and we'll talk more about that. But first of all, tell us how you got started.
Well, thanks for asking. I actually think of myself more as a rock artist with some blues influence. And I was influenced by blues artists that I saw growing up when I lived in Milwaukee. There were artists that would come in from Chicago who I got to see were Chicago blues artists, and that was very exciting. At the time, I still wasn't playing, though. I had this, secret desire to play electric guitar, but it wasn't really, considered yet a thing for girls. So it wasn't really until I was a senior in college that I saw Bonnie Raitt, and she was playing an electric guitar. And so the next day I went out and got one in a pawn shop. And then I moved to New York City, and I started joining bands and kind of learning as I went along. And now today I have my own band, and I have a new EP that just came out called A Zillion Stars Overhead.
A Zillion Stars Overhead, and that is amazing. We'll talk more about that. And what was that one moment that precisely influenced you into what you're doing today?
Again, I'd have to say it was seeing Bonnie Raitt in concert because, I grew up in a fairly conservative Midwest area, and like I said, it really wasn't, my brother was in bands, but, I didn't know any girls who were in bands. And so when I saw Bonnie come out with a, Stratocaster and just she was playing an incredible slide, I stood up and just started screaming and yelling. I was so inspired and excited. And it's kind of cool because years later, I got to meet her a couple times. I interviewed her for a magazine. And then when I wrote my book, The Language of the Blues, she very kindly gave me a wonderful blurb for my book that's on the back cover of it. So she's kind of been an inspiration and a hero of mine.
Wow, that is amazing. And who are some of your other favorite artists and musicians and singers growing up besides Bonnie Raitt?
Oh, I love the Pretenders, Chrissie Hynde. I was actually really kind of into punk. And when I first moved to New York City, I started joining punk bands because I didn't have to know how to play very much, but I managed to get in a band just knowing a few chords, So that was kind of my entree into the New York City music scene.
Mm-hmm. And also too, how would you basically describe yourself? You play blues, Americana, and how would you describe your sound basically as an artist?
People describe my sound as kind of like classic rock. It has sort of a 70s rock feel to it. A lot of people compare me vocally to Sheryl Crow, but our music is heavier rock. As you may know, we have a very special guest artist on this EP, the bass player from one of my favorite bands, Government Mule, Jorgen Carlson, came and played bass on this record. And that was a real thrill for me because he's incredible. And then the drummer is the drummer from John Hummel, also plays in Tom Marshall's project Amphibian, Tom Marshall from the band Fish. So we kind of crossed that classic rock jam band. That's kind of the scene that we're living in.
Mm-hmm. And also keyboardist Rod Cloris from the Black Crowes as well, too, and tell us how you guys hooked up.
Oh, yeah, Rob Flores is incredible keyboard player, and he lives in Jersey City also.
Oh, wow.
So we've been friends for a while, and gosh, Rob has played with everybody from the Black Crowes to Tom Jones. He's currently playing with my friend Jesse Mallon. So, it was natural for me to reach out to Rob to come and play keyboards on this project. And he played, Hammond B3 and piano and added incredible keys to the record.
Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about your songs in just a minute from A Zillion Stars Ahead. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look on a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, check out the latest novel by well-known award-winning author Mia Motion Z of No Time for Love called Missing, an extraordinary relationship between two ordinary people based on real-life events that go through 4 countries, 2 strangers, and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and the ones you love will be the first to go missing. Check out the book on Amazon and other retailers, available on all formats today. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com and over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartradio. Also on AnchorFM, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, Amazon, Audible, and coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, TuneIn, and more. Also heard worldwide on Geo7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with singer-songwriter, the very multi-talented Debra Devi out of Jerseycity, New Jersey, here on the Mike Wagner Show, and we'll be talking about her latest EP, A Zillion Stars Overhead. And tell us how you came up with the EP, and we'll talk about your songs as well. How'd you come up with the EP?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Well, the EP stemmed from a conversation that Jorgen Carlson from Government Mule and I had. Government Mule usually comes to New York every New Year's Eve, and they do like a stand of a number of dates at the Beacon that are, sold out, very popular. And I was backstage at the Beacon Theater, and, I'd met Jorgen briefly before, but this was the first time we really had a chance to get into a deep conversation. And he's a very talented producer, and I love to produce my own records too. So we started talking about, how do you like to mic this with the microphone, and what kind of speakers, we got into all this sort of geeky, fun studio talk. And then he said, right, maybe we should record sometime, which I was thrilled, of course. So luckily, about 6 weeks later, he happened to be out here on the East Coast, and we went in the studio with my drummer and with Rob, and just threw down a bunch of stuff. And we really didn't know if a record was going to come out of it, because we'd never played together before. But we were also pleased with what happened in the studio, that it ended up being this record, A Zillion Stars Overhead.
That is amazing. And you also have some songs in there, When It Comes Down, The Needle and the Damage Done, Stay, When It Comes Down, Canna Indica, and more. Tell us about some of those songs.
Sure. Well, it's a bit of a strange EP because there are 2 versions on the record of this song, When It Comes Down. The reason is that when we were in the studio, we went into improvisational rock jamming on When It Comes Down, and we ended up going for about 9.5 minutes. So it was quite the jam. So there are 2 versions of the song on the record. One that opens the EP is the 9-minute full jam, and it's a pretty incredible jam. But then to spare people who are not so into lengthy guitar solos and whatnot, we cut a short version called When It Comes Down. So there's When It Comes Down Jam, which is the 9.5-minute version. Then there's just When It Comes Down, which clocks in under 4 minutes. And the EP was mixed by Sylvia Massey, who, is a renowned producer and mixer, and someone I've actually always wanted to work with. So, she cut it down to that short version. So they both appear on the EP. Then there's a cover of the Neil Young song, The Needle and the Damage Done, but we did like a rock jam cover of it. So it's got drums, and, it's very different from Neil's just voice and acoustic guitar version. And then there's a almost pop song, like pop rock song called Stay. And I chose that song for the record, or to play with Jorgen, because he grew up in Sweden listening to ABBA. So even though he's a heavy rock bass player, he has a soft spot for pop music. So I wanted to give him a song that had more of a, dancey pop kind of vibe. And he did an amazing job on that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's kind of a diverse little record.
Mm-hmm. And it's very diverse as well, too. And what do you base your lyrics on?
My lyrics, they tend to come from pain.
Really? Pain? It's like, come on, I love pain. Hit me.
I mean, it's true. It's like when, something very emotional. Well, so, for example, the song Stay, I was inspired by a friend of mine who tragically lost his wife that he was madly in love with at a very young age, and was having a very hard time overcoming this profound grief that he had, and, the questioning, could he ever go on? Could he ever love anyone else again? And Stay is about that. My song, When It Comes Down, was inspired by a friend of mine who had a head injury and was trying to recover, get his life back. So it is sometimes tragic events that inspire songwriting, but I find that the songs themselves hopefully are uplifting, because that's kind of how I work through tragedy, and how you go back to your soul and to what inspires you to keep going and to love and appreciate life no matter what happens, and I think right now, we're living through a historic plague around the world. Music is more important than ever to lift our spirits,
Mm-hmm. And that's very important as well, too. And of course, you talk about the pandemic and, basically how'd you yourselves handle the pandemic and what you encourage other people to do when it comes to the pandemic, since we're on that subject.
Sure. Well, the first thing that I started doing was live streaming. It was funny in the early, of course, we got hit the hardest in the beginning of this whole thing here on the East Coast, and it was terrifying in New Jersey and New York. And I live near a beautiful park, but I also, near it is Jersey Medical Center. And, sirens were just going nonstop day and night, and it was very, very scary. But, I had a speaker and a microphone here, and I put my phone up, and I started singing to people and doing a live stream every Thursday night. And people were very responsive to it. There were people that tuned in every single week because they needed, someone said, I need the routine of knowing what I'm going to do on Thursday night. I'm going to watch you, And so then when we came out of the lockdown here and we were able to move about more freely, my band and I started doing a biweekly live stream from Silver Horse Sound in Hoboken, New Jersey. In fact, we'll be airing again this coming Thursday. So that has been absolutely incredible because we've got people from all over the world who come and they hang out with each other in the chat room. And, music is giving us an opportunity to connect right now, which is kind of what everybody needs most.
Mm-hmm. And where can we find your music at?
Oh, well, my music's widely distributed. So you can find it anywhere from Spotify to Pandora, Apple Music, really any platform that you want to listen to music on. Just look up Debra Devi, D-E-V-I, and you should be able to find my records. That
sounds amazing, and we'll play one of her songs, Stay, in just 1 minute. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention The Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, check out the latest novel by well-known award-winning author Mia Motion Zia of No Time for Love, called Missing, an extraordinary relationship between two ordinary people based on real-life events that go through 4 countries, 2 strangers, and 1 target, where truth is an illusion and the ones you love will be the first to go missing. Check out the book on Amazon and other retailers, available on all formats today. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com and on over 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, Amazon Audible, and coming soon to Podbean, Buzzsprout, Pandora, and TuneIn. Heard worldwide on Geo 7, Radio Public, Himalaya, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with multi-talented singer-songwriter Debra Devi on The Mike Wagner Show, and she's also got a book called Language of the Blues we're going to talk about in just 1 minute. Right now, here's Stay off of Zillion Stars Overhead. Here's Debra Devi on The Mike Wagner Show.
I know she's gone. I'm standing here asking you to move on, not disappear. Oh, you may feel like I know without a song, wanting to be happy, feel so wrong, but I know love will find a way.
That's Debra Devi with Stay here on the Mike Wagner Show from the Zillion Stars Overhead, heard on Spotify and other platforms. And, of course, tell us more about the song once again and what did inspire you to write it. I mean, what an awesome tune.
Oh, thank you, Mike. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Well, as I mentioned, you know, a friend of mine had lost his wife to cancer. It was just so tragic. She was absolutely beautiful and, you know, I think she was like 36 or something. So it was kind of awful. And I don't know, I was just thinking about, you know, how do you get the courage up to love again when you've been crushed? And that's where that song came from.
Mm-hmm. And of course, we do emphasize a lot of that, especially during these times as well, too. You lose your loved ones and a lot of concern and everything. And, of course, you know, great way to reach out and help. And where can we find Stay? And once again, where can we find A Zillion Stars Overhead? And, of course, they have some other music. Where can we find that?
Well, you can find my music anywhere you like to listen. So Apple Music, Amazon, Pandora, it's distributed everywhere. Just look for Debra Devi. Stay is on the record called A Zillion Stars Overhead that just came out. And, yeah, I hope people will enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. And not only enjoy music as well, too, you also have a book called The Language of the Blues from Al-Karab to Zuzu. It's out right now. And tell us more about that book.
Sure. Well, The Language of the Blues came out of my fascination with the blues music and my love for it. And I began to be curious about words that you hear in blues songs, you know, words like mojo and hoodoo. And I was wondering, like, well, what language is mojo, or what does it really mean? Where did it come from? Or, you know, you have all kinds of phrases like the eagle flies on Friday, you know, all kinds of the things that you... So I started to make a list, and I came up with about 100 words and phrases, things like killing floor, for example. And I decided I would write a book trying to explain from A to Z what these words mean. And it was an incredibly fun project. I did a ton of research, but what I did that I think is probably the most valuable was I reached out to as many older blues musicians as I could find and interviewed them to ask them directly, you know, what do these words mean to you when you were growing up in the Delta in the 40s or the 30s or 50s? What did you know about this? The very first person I interviewed was Hubert Sumlin, who was Howlin' Wolf's best friend and guitar player for decades and is a legend in the blues. Mm-hmm. So I went out of my way to get stories from many of these blues artists who, you know, are elderly, and they were completely fascinating. So I combined that with all the historical research that I did, and it won an award. It won the ASCAP Deems Taylor Award, actually.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. I guess I should also say that the book has a foreword by Dr. John, who we sadly lost recently.
Mm-hmm. Right, and of course we did miss a wonderful legend as well, too. And also a notice in there, too, that expresses over 150 turns. And explain what is Buffett Flat?
Oh, buffet flat.
Buffet
Oh,
flat,
that's a
okay.
funny one.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm ringing off of
no,
Amazon. They never give you clues like this. I forgot.
Oh, well, so the term buffet flat is in a Bessie Smith song. And she talks about everybody basically going to party at the buffet flat after one of her shows, Soft Pedal Blues. So it was basically a house of ill repute where there would be prostitutes, sex shows, wild parties, musicians coming in after their gigs to play all night long. But these were in private houses, so they were like private homes or private apartments, underground, very illegal. And the reason they were called a buffet flat was flat stands for apartment, and they offered a buffet of whatever you would want, basically. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Remind me not to go to a buffet for a while. I gotta say that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Bessie Smith had, at the height of her career, she had her own private train, and the train would take her from show to show, and she had a lot of drag queens who followed her, a lot of people sort of from the demi-monde, like prostitutes and all kinds of kind of wild people. And she loved to go to these buffet flats after shows and party, and, her friends, her followers would, go there too and party, and they'd have all kinds of wild times.
Mm-hmm. And I could see that happening too. And how about Killing Floor?
Oh, Killing Floor is a really fascinating story, and it was the first, the first person I interviewed, again, Hubert Sumlin, was instrumental in this. In my research, I had found that scholars were saying that the great Chicago blues song, Killing Floor, which Howlin' Wolf, made into a huge hit, the lyrics, I think, were written by Chester Burnett, that it referred to the Chicago slaughterhouses, because during the Great Migration, when many African-American people left the Deep South, migrated north in search of better conditions, hopefully less racism, finding jobs, a lot of times they found themselves with the dirtiest jobs that no one else wanted, and one of those was in Chicago, cleaning the bloody floors of slaughterhouses, because Chicago was a big railroad town, so cars, like cattle cars loaded with, beef steer, would come into Chicago, and then the cattle would be killed and slaughtered and butchered in the Chicago slaughterhouses and then shipped out by train all over the country as, steaks and whatnot. So I thought that's what that song was about. And when I met Hubert, I started telling him, and he's like, no, honey, that's not what that song is about at all. Killing Floor refers to being depressed, to being so down you feel like you're 6 feet under. And that's what Howlin' Wolf wrote that song about.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was the first time I realized that I could maybe make a contribution by talking directly to the artist, because some of the scholars perhaps were just talking to each other. And what's very interesting is Hubert told me that, Wolf would often get really down, like if they were in the studio and he didn't like his vocals, he would go home and go into bed for 3 days, and they'd have to go and drag him out of bed to get him back in the studio. And he would say he was feeling down on the Killing Floor.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and it actually makes a lot of sense, because there's a song from the 30s by a blues artist named Skip James called Hard Time Killing Floor.
Mm-hmm.
Way before the Great Migration, before there were a lot of African-American people working in the Chicago slaughterhouses, there was this song, Hard Time Killing Floor, and it's about being so desperately poor that you just have absolutely nothing, and you're just, desperate.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it was pretty fascinating to get to learn this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. He also mentioned Mojo as well, too. And what is your interpretation of Mojo?
Well, Mojo comes from an African word called mohuba.
Mohuba.
M-O-J-U-B-A, which I think it's, I'm trying to remember which African language. I want to say Wolof, but I'm not sure. I don't remember if that's right. But I know that the word, it's a verb that means to spit.
To stick.
And to spit, yeah.
Oh, spit. I'm sorry. I thought you said stick. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, to spit on something. So the reason that is that when you make a mojo bag, you take like a piece of flannel and you put, some hair and some coins and different things in there to make a little charm. Mojo bag can be for good luck, it can be for, getting the love that you want or good luck in gambling. But to activate the mojo, you have to spit on it or put some kind of liquid on it, like pour whiskey on it.
Huh.
So the word mojo comes from this act of activating the spell, from the word mohuba. Yeah, isn't that wild?
That is wild, yes. And, of course, I have to think about using my mojo more than ever.
Yeah.
Maybe think twice next time, now that you mention it. And may want to throw...
Right. Well,
Go ahead.
Yeah, mojo came to sort of symbolize, this idea of power that was innate in the person. Like, I got my mojo working, and it became sort of synonymous with, like, sort of the swaggering confidence of someone like Muddy Waters or then Jim Morrison, or so we think of now of our mojo as being like our coolness.
Mm-hmm. And how about some of the other terms you like to throw out there? You can just throw a couple out there if you like. I mean, this is actually interesting.
Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah, I'm glad it's interesting. Well, alco rub, which opens up the book. Alco rub is short for rubbing alcohol.
Rubbing alcohol.
And,
okay.
Yeah. And during Prohibition, alcoholics were really desperate to get some alcohol because, if you go into withdrawal from alcohol, you're shaking and you're having delirium, and it's really a very bad, it's a worse withdrawal than, withdrawing from a lot of drugs. So they were trying to figure out what they could do. And one thing that some alcoholics did was they would get rubbing alcohol, put it on a cloth and sniff it.
Oh my goodness.
And that would be enough to like kind of ease their symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
And alco rub.
Alco rub, okay. And how about Zuzu?
Oh, Zuzu means a cookie. It's I got that word from Dr. John, actually. I was at he moved to New Orleans before he passed away, but when I met him, he was still living in New York City in a beautiful townhouse. And we were hanging out, and his wife brought in some cookies, his girlfriend, and he said, bring us some more Zuzus, honey. It's like a New Orleans slang term for a cookie.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. I have to go ask for some Zuzu next time when I'm on the Big Easy. So, hey, I like some
know what you're talking about,
chocolate chip Zuzu, yeah, or maybe some Oreo Zuzu. That white creamy filling, with 2 sandwiches. Yeah, that kind of Zuzu. Yeah, so give me that.
Yeah.
So, and where can
It kind of just means like a sweet or a cookie,
Oh, that's fascinating. Now you got me hungry for some. I got my mojo to go to New Orleans to get me some Zuzu. So
Exactly.
And where can we find The Language of the Blues at?
It is on Amazon and in bookstores. Well, not too many bookstores these days. I guess it's more people just shop online for books right now. So Amazon is probably your best bet. I have some signed copies on my website too, but I think we're sold out, to tell you the truth. So I would just direct people to Amazon.
Okay.
For The Language of the Blues.
Okay,
Debra Devi.
All right, we'll certainly do that. Once again, singer, songwriter, multi-talented, and author of Language of the Blues, Debra Devi here on the Mike Wagner Show. Debbie, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon.
My pleasure.
And also, just a few minutes before we go, we'd love to have you back in 2021 and beyond. And what can we expect from you next year and past that?
Oh, gosh. Well, first of all, I'd love to come back anytime. Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
And, gosh, in 2021, I think like every musician I know, my band and I just want to be out performing for human beings instead of to a little tiny camera in our studio. I mean, seriously, all my friends who are off the road, like the Government Mule Band and so many people who tour for a living, it's been, the music industry just has been absolutely pounded by this. And we just hope and pray for everybody. Just do what you got to do to be safe right now. Even if you don't like it, just deal with it, because vaccines are coming and hope is coming. And, we just have to deal with it, suck it up and deal with it for a couple more months. And hopefully we'll be all back together in 2021, enjoying each other's company again.
Mm-hmm. And that sounds amazing, too. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career, Deborah?
My biggest influence in what?
In your career.
Oh, gosh. Well, again, as I mentioned before, Bonnie Raitt. I say a huge influence for me right now is Warren Haynes from Government Mule. I really fell in love with his guitar playing a couple years ago, and have so enjoyed getting to go see them and to kind of study his playing up close. I think he's a real American treasure, somewhat underrated at times, but truly like an American musical treasure.
That is amazing. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
As far as music, I would say, know that your voice is unique and special and is needed. And I started playing late. I didn't get the same experience as so many male players do of getting to play in junior high school bands and high school bands and college bands. But I still was able to, find myself as a musician and, hopefully make a contribution that people enjoy. So, just focus on finding your own voice.
Mm-hmm. And that's very important. Once again, Debra Devi here on the Mike Wagner Show, author of Language of the Blues, and also with her new release, Zillion Stars Overhead. A very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back on in 2021 and beyond. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or listen to your music and purchase your book?
Sure, Mike. Well, again, thank you so much for having me. It's been really fun. Upcoming, I'm writing new music, and I'm, looking forward to recording a new EP as soon as that's possible, hopefully with your organ again on bass. We're talking about maybe going out and working with Sylvia Massey some more at her studio. And people can find my website. It's debradevi.com, D-E-B as in boy, R-A-D-E-V as in Victor, I.com. And from my website, they can find my Facebook, my Instagram, my YouTube. I've dropped one video from the EP that's really fun for the long When It Comes Down jam. It's a kind of a psychedelic video. It's got footage of us playing in the studio. And I've got a new music video for Stay coming out in a few weeks, and it'll be premiered on Guitar Girl magazine. So people keep an eye out for Guitar Girl, and they'll find that there.
Okay, that sounds very good. Once again, Debra, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back on in 2021 and beyond. And don't forget to keep in touch. We definitely love having you back. You've been absolutely amazing.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hi, this is Mia Mosinzia, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based upon a real-life relationship, available in print and ebook formats on Amazon. Do read it. I'm sure you'll love it. It's www.miamosinzia.com and www.amazon.com/miamosinzia.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartradio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.